Speaking of being black and being proud, Smokey Robinson said that he resents being called African American. Instead, he wants to be called a black American. He doesn't want to be called African American anymore. And this is interesting because over the years, I've called myself a black American. And I always said, well, I've never been to Africa and I'm not from Africa. And then people have argued me down that my roots are in Africa. And then I watched the Roots movie and didn't see any of my people in there. So it's like I understand what he's saying, but during this interview with The View, Smokey Robinson, he had talked about his poem Black American, which was turned into an animation by a teacher trying to educate his students about the Black experience. Robinson shared what being a Black American means to him and why he resents being labeled African American. And this is what he said.
I'm a person, I resent being called an African American. I really do. Now, I've traveled all over the world, and Africa is one of the few places in the world that I've never been yet. Okay. But I think that when you do that, you're disclaiming all the things, all the contributions that Black people have made to America. You see, I consider myself to be a Black American, and I enjoy being called Black. And Black has been so negativized as a color down throughout history by those who wanted to negativize it. And so it spilled over into the Black community, into the Black people. And even Black people back in the day calling each other Black was a sign for a fight or something like that, because it had been so negativized, like Black was just so negative. So I resent being called an African American because Black people have contributed so much to the development of the United States of America.
I agree. I think, be called what you want to be called. Don't call me Negro. Don't call me color. Don't call me none of that bullshit. Call me half breed. Don't call me mulatto. Don't just call me Jason or call me Black. I'm fine with that. Well, no, you can't say, hey, Black. But you know what I mean? Like, I identify as being a Black American. And until I have more education on why I should identify other, that's what it is.
So this is awkward for me because Smokey Robinson is a legend and he started off correctly and then started just negativizing and making up things and then went left real fast. So I agree with him, but he took a detour that I can't like really sponsor. So let's talk about facts since that's not what happened in the last clip. The facts of the matter are African American is a very beautiful and should be celebrated ethnicity group, guys. The same way being Ashkenazi Jewish is an ethnicity. We talked about that with Whoopi before. Being African American is an ethnicity that only belongs to Black Americans who are from this land and whose like families and ancestors actually built this country. So African American is actually an ethnicity that belongs to you guys. So everybody on this show is Black. We're all Black Americans, but I'm actually not African American. And so the first thing I want to say is if you're African American, please take pride in that and don't think of it as a throwaway comment. It's actually a real ethnicity and a real culture that needs to be celebrated. Black American means anybody who's from the Black race. So everybody who's Black, who's in America is a Black American, but not all of us have ancestors who built this country, and those are African Americans. So even though Smokey is right that those two terms are different, he's actually African American, so that's awkward. Sorry, Smokey.
Yeah, I think it's I understand. I understand. I don't think he should resent being called African American
because he actually.
I'm like, you resent it? It's not that. I don't think it was that negativized. But look, he has the right to feel like how he wants to feel. And I'm glad there was a teacher there to take some of that content, hopefully not all of it, some of it, and make something for the younger Black or African American children to understand their culture. Because I think that's really the biggest problem here is like us understanding our power and how much we gave to this American culture. I guess exploring more of Black culture. I think that's what he was trying to go down the road of. I love Smokey. He can't really say nothing wrong. Negativize is a new word I'm adding to my dictionary. So, Smokey, I'm right.
That's negativized.
Listen, Smokey is a senior citizen.
He gets all the praise.
Listen. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm not even going to say.
Don't you negativize this?
No.
Don't negativize it.
I'm not going to negativize this. But what I will say is let me be very clear on what I agree with. I agree on being called a Black American for me. All the other stuff, I actually didn't even hear what he said because I tuned out because I felt like it was going to go. It was getting a little too long-winded for me. I was like, Lord, I just want to agree with this part. I ain't about to listen to the rest of this. You know what I mean? Because it's sort of, anyway, I'm not going to say the joke I'm going to say. Look, this is what I will say, right? It's so sad as a people how we struggle with identifying because some of us don't know where we came from. Some of us don't know the heritage. Some of us don't know our generational history. When you look at people who say you don't belong in this country, I know, bitch, but y'all shouldn't have brought us here on that fake ass cruise that turned into us building your free after you slaughtered all them people and then told us we don't belong here. But anyway, we're not going to talk about those ruthless people because then I'll be suspended for 2 weeks. Oop, can't do it. I own my show. You know, the other thing is, I will say this, and I'm not saying the Jewish people did. I'm saying people that don't look like me, because I love everybody. I don't say racist, but my point of it all is that in our country, we have not been able to fully materialize who we are as a people. And so, you know, colorism, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even understand that colorism was as serious as it was until a few years ago on this show when people started telling me I was a colorist for the I'm like, damn, I can't love who I love or be attracted to what I'm attracted to, like without being a colorist. Like, I don't understand it, but these are problems that white folks created that are problematic in our community. So listen to Smokey, oh blue eyes, be who you want to be. I still don't know how you got blue eyes. And wouldn't it be crazy if God gave him glaucoma for saying something like this after he got them beautiful eyes that made him famous? I just wish the best for him. And run on, run on.